Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wingcat Sports. We are going to do our playoff overview right now. Going over the divisional round, we'll go over the scores of the wild card real quick, though, but we won't go into too much detail about them. First game of the wild card was the Texans and Browns. The Texans beating up on the Browns. They ended up winning 45-14. Honestly, it was surprising. I thought it was going to be a closer game, but with Joe Flacco's 2 pick sixes, it wasn't.
No, Joe Flacco, he played like.
I mean, he did.
Yeah, he did. And that's unfortunate.
Ruined our hopes for a Browns-Lions Super Bowl. How could he?
We were hoping for a Browns-Lions Super Bowl, but that was pretty much the game. I think, Joe Flacco didn't do enough, and the Browns, C.J. Stroud, geez, that guy's had a great year.
We'll see.
The Texans, I mean, you got to, even though we're from Detroit, I got to give it to the Texans. For Coach of the Year and stuff, and I got that whole organization. I mean, it's just that you got to applaud them.
I think Coach of the Year is going to go to whoever goes further between the Texans and the Lions.
Probably, but I don't think it should. I think,
but the turnaround with the Texans without quick is impressive. So I got you can give it to the Texans. I wouldn't be mad if the Texans.
I think those are the only two that really should have a legitimate shot
at it. Next game. The Chiefs beating the Dolphins 26-7 in the frigid negative 30-degree weather in Arrowhead. I honestly thought it was going to be a closer game than it was, but the Chiefs had no problems in the cold.
Nope. They're used to it. They got it in there, and Mahomes was Mahomes. And the Dolphins couldn't, their high-flying offense really couldn't operate in that kind of weather or those kind of conditions, and so, it was, we all kind of thought that was going to favor Kansas City. And it did. I give it up. Like I said, Mahomes, they caught the ball that day. The entire Kansas City team played really, really well.
Yeah. I was really hoping for Miami, but I guess we got to deal with KC for another week. Moving on to the best game of the weekend, and I don't think it's even an argument because of all the scores. Lions and Rams. Lions beating the Rams 24-23. Great game. I was at the game. If you want to go full detail of that game, we did do a post game on it. It was a good game.
It was a real good game. And, like I said, I think it was even. Throughout the whole game, it was just our defense made a play at the end. McVay, I believe, made a mistake in punting the ball back to us. But our defense in the second half, as much as it's maligned, they didn't give up touchdowns. They gave up field goals, and they kept the Rams from doing anything that could, push them ahead. They never got ahead of us.
No, they did not. Moving on to the next game, the hilarious game of Sunday. The Packers beating up the Cowboys at home, 48-32. And it was an embarrassment for the Cowboys. And now the Lions will have another home game. Right.
Dak Prescott.
They
that was sucked. Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboy defense.
they absolutely sucked. We were watching the game at Ford Field, and honestly, like that was. I mean, we wanted to face. I think a lot of Lions fans also wanted to face Dallas, just do it again. I know the Lions players did, but this is just as good.
Bro, I mean, it's not. I mean, I really don't like Green Bay either. I didn't want them to get. I didn't like either team. So, it'll be fun only in the sense of we have a shot at a NFC Championship game at home, which would be awesome. But I can't even explain it. I don't even understand how
someone collapsed that badly.
They collapsed like that. It doesn't make any sense.
When it's 27-0 at halftime, there's a problem. There is a massive problem.
I just don't even.
I don't expect Mike McCarthy to be the coach. I don't expect Mike McCarthy to be the coach next year of the Cowboys. If he is, great, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think there's just too many options available out there that will tempt Jerry Jones to trick. I mean, he's been there 5 years or something like that.
And even after that, kind of performance, I don't see why.
Can't, because all you could say and what everyone is saying is basically they didn't show up.
They did not for a playoff game. For a playoff game, what game you have to show up for?
Right.
So That's the embarrassment of the Cowboys again. With garbage time TDs too. That's the only reason why they have 32 points, because it was at one point 48-16, and
Right.
they let up. Packers said, "All right, we're not going to get anyone injured. We're going to pull people out. We're fine."
Right.
Going on to Monday, you had the Bills Steelers game that got moved from Sunday because of the blizzard and unsafe travel conditions, but the fans did make it out on Monday to support the Bills. The Bills ended up beating the Steelers, as we all thought would end up happening. 31-17 wasn't a terrible game, but wasn't a close game like we were probably hoping to watch.
Well, the first half was all Bills, Josh Allen. And then, the Pittsburgh stiffened. And they kept it close. They had a chance. Pittsburgh, I think, there's a lot of talk of Mike Tomlin being.
Well, it's confirmed he's staying.
Well,
I didn't tell you that. He did say he was staying.
Well, right. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of talk out of there whether they should stay or whether Pittsburgh should re-sign him.
But he has 1 year left on his contract.
Or keep right or anything else.
But he's staying though.
I'm glad. I mean, like I said, I think I'd like to see what he does with an actual quarterback. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with Roethlisberger, so I think he could if you give him the right tools. He's a great coach.
Never has had a record below 500.
No, I mean, you can't blame a guy for being consistently good. And I don't get why they would want to get
Pittsburgh has coaches like the Packers have QBs. Their coaches stay forever.
Right.
But moving on to the last game before we get on to the wild card games, you got the Eagles and Bucks. Again, not something I fully expected to happen, but the Buccaneers beating up on the Eagles 32-9. I really wanted the Eagles to win, so Matt Patricia had to come to Detroit, but we don't get that. We get Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Well, I did predict the Bucks would beat them, but I didn't think it'd be like that. And again, it's a lot like the Cowboys. The Cowboys and Eagles have to. They didn't show up. There's no heart on those teams. They have all the talent in the world, much more, I think, than most of the teams out there. I think both these teams could very easily go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But there's something going wrong on those teams.
And hopefully Darius Slay's doing well after his injury he had. I don't know if I didn't see the details on it because he did get hurt at the end of the game.
Maybe he'll come back to Detroit next year.
Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. We got CJ potentially signed. But we'll see what ends up happening with him. Hopefully he's doing good. But moving on to the divisional round, Saturday's games. You have the first game of the day. It really shouldn't be too much of a choice between the two that we should be able to pick. You got the Texans and the Ravens.
Our hearts are with Texans, but I think we realize, as these playoffs have shown, I think the Texans are going to give the Ravens a lot more than they think.
The Ravens are predicted.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
The Ravens have an 81% chance to win. They are predicted. They are 9-point favorites. The over/under is 44.5. And the weather is 28 degrees, but partly cloudy.
I'll
that
take
day.
The Texans.
You're gonna pick the Texans to win. I mean,
to cover.
I know. I'm gonna say the Ravens are gonna win this game.
You're gonna pick them to cover.
The 9 points.
9 points.
I don't know if it's gonna be that, because Houston's been playing well. I don't know if they'll be that far apart. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans came out and won, to be honest.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I think the Ravens are going to win, though.
Okay. Yeah, I do. They should, but the Baltimore Ravens have shown before that they don't always perform at their best at the best times. So let's see. They've yet to prove that.
There's a lot of injuries on both teams. I think Mark Andrews will be back, though, this week. At least he's going to be practicing this week. So we'll see. A lot of people are projected to be back before the game. But we'll see what ends up happening injury-wise with both teams. Next game on Saturday, the NFC divisional playoff game on Saturday is between the Packers and the 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are a 9.5 favorite. So obviously, right, most people are going to probably pick the 49ers with this one. They also have a 78% chance to win.
Again, I think Green Bay will cover the spread, but probably lose. But I would not count them out. I think the This is a year of strange stuff going on in the NFL, and the Packers are very hot. I mean, they're
Yeah.
playing their best ball right now. That's always a huge thing when you're going to the playoffs, playing your best ball.
The over-under for the game is 50.5. The current game time prediction is 62 degrees, a nice 62-degree day out in California
Beautiful.
for them to play. Not playing in the negative temperatures of Kansas City. But it should be a good game.
I
Again,
think it's gonna be a
San
real good
Fran
game.
should win. If you go by the history, San Francisco is always Green Bay's Achilles heel when it comes to playoff football.
Yep.
Just like Green Bay is Dallas's, and just like Dallas is ours. It comes down to it that I think the San Francisco is just going to take care of business against them, and we'll see how banged up everybody gets for that championship week. Because if we get to face them, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Moving on to Sunday. The first game of Sunday is the Lions and Bucks. We did a post game that will be out later this week, going into more detail about the game. The Lions, again, are favored, 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. Again, I think the Lions are going to win this one. I'm going to pick the favorite again.
Yeah, I think again, like with all the past two games, I think the Lions will win this one in a close one. I take the Bucks and the points. So
It is going to be a very, very interesting game between two teams that are hot, two teams that have something to prove because a lot of people still doubt the Lions. Everybody doubted the Bucks. This is basically the NFC side of prove yourself to be worthy, even though the Packers are also a team that people are doubting. Really, the only team that's not in doubt is the 49ers on the NFC side. And then the last game of the week on CBS is going to be a fairly even matchup. Is the Bills and the Chiefs. This time, the Chiefs have to go to Buffalo. The Buffalo is only favored by 2.5.
this is the game where Buffalo avenges themselves upon the Chiefs. Taylor Swift is thrown from the skybox.
56% chance that Buffalo does win.
I like Taylor.
The game time temperature is supposed to be 20 degrees. One thing I learned this week about Buffalo's field, it's not heated.
It's not. Well, that's for a reason because they give that home field.
It is not heated, unlike Kansas City and Lambeau Field, Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium is not heated. So they do not have a heated field.
What's the weather look like for that game?
20 degrees and cloudy.
Woo! That's gonna be
so
good.
It's going to be solid ground they're running on. Over unders 46.5. I'm going to go Bills too on this one. The Bills, they're going to be at home. They get to avenge themselves. They'll have to stay in the cold to go face Baltimore most likely, or they host the AFC Championship game if Houston shocks them, and Houston has to go to Buffalo. And honestly, at this point, I'm hoping for a Bills-Lions Super Bowl.
Oh, that would be tough. We played them tough last year at Thanksgiving.
I think that would be a fun game to watch. Out of who's left, if I had to pick a Super Bowl out of the teams that are left on the AFC side, I want the Bills. And of course,
I don't really think we
Lions.
match up with any of the AFC teams well. So if you got it, it doesn't matter to me who wins out of the AFC because I think they'd all be equally tough against us.
I mean, we beat the Chiefs. So, I mean, and that's without some of our players, too.
They'll have Travis Kelce this time around.
Travis Kelce will be playing, yes. But I think no matter who we're playing, right? The Texans should be good. Ravens, they beat up on you, so you're out for revenge. And
if we make it to the Super Bowl, that would be just so awesome.
Well, I don't think we would care at that point if we made it to the Super Bowl because that has not happened.
Yeah,
but I would out of all the AFC teams left, I like the Bills.
Well, I mean, I think most of us would like to see a non-Mahomes, non-Swift
Super Bowl.
I think we'd like to. But out of all those teams, like I said, I don't know. Maybe I want to revenge the Ravens. Ravens
teams I would like to see win it is Buffalo. I want to see
play
Buffalo.
The team with the weakest defense.
If you had to see an AFC team win it right now, who would you want out of the AFC to win it?
Would I want? Probably the Texans.
I want the Bills. I want the Bills to win.
I like the Bills, but
I want the Bills
they've
to win.
been there a few times.
Texans are new. They got to suffer longer.
Yeah, that's true.
So I want the Bills. I want the Bills.
I'm just really impressed by the Texans.
And then I don't even know who I want. I would want the Bucks to go, honestly, out of the NFC if it's not the Lions.
Not the Lions. Oh, of course.
I want the Bucks to
go.
I don't want the Packers or 49ers in the Super Bowl. They have their success.
Well, I mean, like I said, I
the
want to
Bucks
see Baker
go.
Mayfield. The Bucks won a Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Brady.
but Bucks are also known to be a terrible franchise.
I wouldn't hate anybody in the NFC right now. I don't hate any of the teams.
You want the Packers to win?
That would be weird to have the Packers.
So you don't want the Packers. But out of who's left, I think we both can agree that not the Packers.
Can you imagine the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship?
That'd be terrible. Jordan Love versus
No, I think everybody wants to see Detroit play San Francisco. That's the two best teams left in the NFC.
I think
we want to see that.
They want to see Bills Ravens.
We'd love to see the Bills Ravens. Right. Bills Ravens.
Those are what you want to see.
That's what we would love. But what if that happens? I don't know.
Bills Ravens, Lions, 49ers. That would be great.
And then whoever makes it out of those two will be.
And like I said, if Houston beats the Ravens, that's honestly Texans Bills wouldn't even be bad.
Right.
Just don't want the Chiefs. Anyone but the Chiefs from the AFC side. And I did
we're kind of tired.
And I did see someone say for the NFC quarterbacks, one of the quarterbacks out of the NFC is going to make the Super Bowl. Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, or last but not least, Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant.
Right. And out of those, it's kind of like Baker Mayfield's the senior out of that.
I would say, no.
Goff is?
I think Goff might be because he's been to a Super Bowl too.
Yeah, they're close.
And then your AFC is, of course, Josh Allen.
Goff's the only one that's been to a Super Bowl.
Yes. And then out of the AFC, you got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and the newbie third-round pick this year, C.J. Stroud.
Mahomes has been to a Super Bowl in the AFC.
So,
out of those four.
So it is going to be a fun rest of the year, I think. No matter who wins, who loses, even as Lions
Bring
fans.
Bring it on.
We are happy with our one playoff win. Obviously, we want more, but we are content now with whatever happens. We're going to be very happy going forward. With all that being said, though, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Until next time, we'll see everybody soon.